Hare Krishna. So, today being the most important day, the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. So, today we can going to discuss about the some activities in remembrance of the Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Being a, before we start, we offer our obeisances to him. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण श्रीरघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं सद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सगणललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यः वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you very much. Today being a very special day, the day of disappearance day, transcendental disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. So many people ask this question that it is understood that we celebrate the appearance day, our birthday and all. But what kind of this culture we don't understand that we are celebrating the disappearance day. Usually it is understood that, if a son is born, we are happy. If son passes away, we are sad, we are unhappy. But spiritually, that is different. Spiritually, the appearance and disappearance day is all same. Just like a sunrise and sunset, both are beautiful. Therefore, in spiritual context, both the appearance and disappearance day is all same. Therefore, we celebrate. We have temple kirtan, we have puspanjali, we have prasadam. We are chanting, we are dancing. We are so happy because spiritual context, there is no appearance disappearance is same. Particularly for a spiritual master, for a great devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. Just like Lord, appearance and disappearance is all transcendental. Janma karma chame divyam. Krishna says Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 9 that my appearance, disappearance all transcendental. It's not like that out of karma they come. They come from the spiritual world to spread the Krishna consciousness, to revive our Krishna consciousness, to help us to get out from this obnoxious, notorious and nefarious material world. They appear so that to stop our appearance. They have come to stop our coming in this material world. They have taken birth so that we can stop taking birth in this material world. That is their mission. Just like Krishna, his appearance is transcendental. Similarly, the representative of Krishna also transcendental. They have not come out of karma. We have come, we have taken birth. Somebody is Bill Gates, somebody is gatekeeper, somebody in the body of woman, man, animals, out of our karma. Karmena daivanetrana. According to karma, we take birth. But for Krishna and Krishna's representative, it is not the case. They take birth, they appeared, they take birth for a mission, they appear for a mission. Their birth is not material but transcendental. Out of his mercy, they come to deliver us because we are struggling in this material world. We are suffering in this material world. We are taking birth, death again and again. Birth is painful, death is painful, and in between birth and death is also painful. Disease, old age. To stop our suffering, to stop our continuous repeated birth and death, they have taken birth, they have appeared. Therefore, their appearance is very glorious, their disappearance also glorious. Sometimes they ask the question, why you do not celebrate the disappearance day of Lord Krishna? Because in case of Lord Krishna, on the appearance day we know that he is God. The demigod is praying when Krishna was in womb of Devaki. The demigods, all demigods assembled together and they prayed. Satyam Vratam, Satyam, what is that? Satyam Asatyam Param Satyam Vatam Trisatyam Satyasya Nitam Satyasya Nitam Jonis Satya Atmakam Prapanam. So they are praying, they know that Lord has appeared. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhithanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamaham paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya dushkitam dharma sanstapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. So everybody knows, particularly the demigods, the acharya, they know that. The region of Lord appearance, the time of Lord appearance. So therefore they know the glories. In case of Ramchandra also same thing. But in case of Acharya, during the appearance, nobody knows. But when they disappear, we know the glories, their achievement, their pastimes, their remembrance. We know. Therefore, the disappearance day is more glorious actually. It's a matter of happiness, matter of celebration, auspicious actually. Although we feel separation, but their appearance and disappearance are all the same. So today being a special day, so we will come to know about the unparalleled contribution of Srila Prabhupada in our life. Because the soul, indestructible soul, does not need a gross body and subtle body. Our soul is constituted of the soul, of gross body and subtle body. We do not need that. We do not need to carry the baggage. Therefore, the spiritual master comes from the spiritual world to take up that baggage. Why we are carrying this baggage? The weight that gives us a uh, problem, misery, suffering, because we carry this bag, subtle body and gross body, which you do not need to carry this baggage. Therefore, the spiritual master comes to dissipate, to take out that bag, to take up that bag from us, from the soul, so that it would be easier for us to go back to Godhead, to take away all our suffering, to get us out from this material entanglement, encasement. Our soul is imprisoned in a cage inside this body since time immemorial. We have been changing from one imprisonment to another imprisonment, one jail to another jail, since time immemorial. Therefore, the spiritual master comes so that we can stop suffering in this imprisonment, so that we can stop the obnoxious life. Therefore, spiritual master is always glorious. Always glorious. And that glories came to be known when he disappears. Therefore, we celebrate the disappearance day as a very auspicious day. So here it is stated that what is the use, what is the need of a spiritual master? What is a spiritual master? Spiritual master cannot be the word, very word cannot be conveyed in English word like a spiritual master, spiritual teacher. No. It is more than that. It conveys the very etymologically, it conveys the lot of meaning, profound meaning of spiritual master. He is heavy. He is the dispeller of darkness. We all are in darkness in this material world. The material world is full of darkness. We need sun, we need electricity, we need moon. We do not know what is the objective of life. We are in ignorance. And spiritual master, out of his causeless mercy, anugrahaya means out of causeless mercy, he comes down from the spiritual world as a representative of the Lord to dissipate that ignorance. Amajnana timirandasya jnananjana salakaya. So to open our blinded eyes, open our eyes blinded by the ignorance, darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. He comes to show the path how to go back to Godhead. He comes to show the path how to stop this repetition of birth and death. He comes to show the path to take off our baggage of this subtle and gross body, which the soul does not need to carry. That is spiritual master. Sansara dava nalanida loka pranaya karunya ghana ghana. We are now suffering in a blazing forest fire. When there is a forest fire, it devours everyone, all these inhabitants of forest. So we are very much suffering, scorching suffering. So we cannot be relieved, that this suffering cannot be relieved by any other process than the mercy cloud. Just like if there is a forest fire, we cannot extinguish the fire with a fire brigader. We need a copious rainfall. We need a incessant rainfall, rain cloud, the pouring of rain. And that rain, mercy rain cloud, is brought by spiritual master. Therefore it is says that sansara dava nalalida loko tranaya karunya ghana ghanatam. The spiritual master brought this mercy cloud, the rain, to extinguish the forest fire of this material life, blazing forest fire of this material world, material life, to extinguish our suffering, to extinguish this forest fire. Therefore he is glorious. Therefore we offer our obeisances, because this only process, only way to stop this entanglement, stop this precarious condition, to stop this excruciating pain of material world, is the mercy of spiritual master. Because we cannot, we are bound by material world, we are in imprisonment. I cannot unlock myself and get away. We need a spiritual master, we need somebody. Therefore Shastra says that we cannot do anything, we cannot. Here it is said that in beautiful verses in this 11:20 to 10, it is stated very nicely in these verses that the living entity cannot free himself, because a person who has been covered by the ignorance since time immemorial is not capable of effecting his own realization. There must be some other personality who is in factual knowledge of absolute truth, can impart this knowledge to him. See, it is stated here that we cannot execute, we cannot do anything, because we are bound, we cannot unbound ourselves. Therefore it is said that somebody should help us, and that somebody is a spiritual master, which helps us to get out from this material encumbrance, embarrassment, or miseries, or material awkward position. We are in awkward position. We are spirit soul. Somehow and other we are engaged in this body, which we do not need to be, and we are suffering for that. There is a existential disharmony, dissension, dilemma, and therefore we need a spiritual master. Further, it is stated in this verses by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we need a spiritual master. Spiritual master is not an option; it is a must. It is stated in this beautiful word. Krishna speaks through Shastra. Yeah, in these beautiful verses, Lord Krishna has spoken these beautiful verses. The forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through Vedic literature, the realized spiritual master and the super soul. Through this, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is. And he can understand that Lord Krishna is his eternal master and deliverer from the clutches of Maya. In this way, one can acquire real knowledge of his conditioned life and can come to understand how to attain liberation. We need a sadhu shastra guru. We cannot do, we cannot free ourselves. Therefore, the spiritual master is not an option. Tad vijnanartham saugurum eva avigachat, it is a must. Because that is why spiritual master is glorious. Due to this unparalleled contribution, unique contributions to free us from this conditioned life. Therefore, the spiritual master is glorious. So today, Srila Prabhupada, being the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada, we will discuss about this contribution, unparalleled, unique contribution of Srila Prabhupada in our life, in the lives of millions of living entities who follows. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada say, I never die. A spiritual master never dies. He lives with his instruction, even after his disappearance. Bhakti Vinod Thakur say that Srila Prabhupada say that I live with my instruction and follower live with me. So spiritual master, there is no question of, this like material body, he's died. No. He's always there. He always live with his instruction. There is no question of disappearance as such. Therefore, we consider, we celebrate as auspicious things. In this regard, Bhakti Vinod Thakur gave a very nice statement, very interesting statement, that Vaisnava never dies. Vaisnava never, who tells, he reasons seals who tells that Vaisnava die. Thou art of living in sound. And they live to spread the Krishna consciousness. So Vaisnava, there is no question of dying. Jiva va marava. Either you live or die. Srila Prabhupada used to give a very good story in this regard. For a sadhu, either they appear, for them, either they live or die. There is no difference. They are same. Living also, they are spreading Krishna consciousness. Dying also, they live in their instruction. So for them, this appearance, disappearance are same. Jiva va marava. Either you live or die, doesn't matter. It is the same. You always engage in the service of the Krishna. They always engage in the service of the mission of Krishna. Today we are going to discuss about this contribution of the great personality. Before that, I will show you beautiful verses. Prabhupada say that I have not come to US for sightseeing or my personal interest. I have come to preach this, spread this Krishna consciousness movement, so that the living entity who are enmeshed in this material world, undergoing repeated birth and death, can go back to Godhead. That is his mission. Therefore he goes. Srila Prabhupada in 1965, August 13, he sailed to America just before the 69th, before his 69th birthday, begging a passage, free passage in a steamship, cargo steamship, that is called Jaladuta. For 37 days, it took him to go to America, New York, to reach America. And in that cargo ship, he was there alone. He was there alone. But at the fag age of 69 years, normally people love to be with their grandchildren, and rest, relax. But Prabhupada was different. He's a spiritual master. He's a representative of God. He came to execute the order of Krishna, order of his spiritual master, to spread the Krishna consciousness, deliver the fallen souls. He was preparing before that, before coming to America, he was in Radha Damodar temple. He was preparing. Morning he will get off at very early, Mangalarti 4 o'clock, and he goes to all the temples, come back at 11 o'clock. He cooks himself, and after cooking, he offered 12 o'clock and he take prasadam, and took rest for few hours, 1 hour, half an hour, 1 hour. He got up and he preaches. In evening he preaches. He read books throughout the afternoon. At night, evening, he preaches in English particularly. Although Vrindavan, most of the people are Hindi speaking, but he is preparing to go to Western country. His guru ordered him to go, and when he met his guru in 1922, and guru asked him, by knowing his English knowledge, fluent in English knowledge, so he told him, you go and preach the Western world. They are quite ignorant. They are oblivious to this Krishna consciousness. They are oblivious to how to go back to Godhead. They are in dark ignorance. Prabhupada was preparing this mission. And by the mercy of Krishna, he got a free passage. And when he boarded the ship, he has the possession of one umbrella, few box of books, $7 worth of American money. He has nothing actually, practically. And at this age, it's very difficult to travel in the cargo ship. And he has few cereals are there in his possession. In this way, he was undergoing so much trials, tribulation, troubles. He underwent, he was succumbed to two major heart attack. And he told that if the third heart attack comes, I will not survive. I would not have survived actually. But Krishna helps him. His spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati helps him. He has come to propagate the Krishna consciousness mission. Then he reached after 37 days New York. And he used to say that when I reach in New York, I do not know whether to turn right or turn left. He was practically alone. He was penniless. And he was very foreign to this culture, intellectually, physically, culturally. He is very foreign. He was not accustomed to this foreign culture. But he has a tremendous determination and faith to execute the Krishna consciousness mission. When we understand, a child may be reluctant to take bitter medicine, but when he understands that his mother sold his jewelry to buy this medicine, his reluctance will transform to gratitude. Today we are talking about the activities, the sacrifice, this unparalleled unique contribution of Srila Prabhupada. If we understand this, we know this, then our reluctance to take up this Krishna consciousness will transform to gratitude, so that we can adopt it wholeheartedly. So to fulfill the prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada set out for the America and reached America in 1965 to start his mission. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Advaitam Advaitam Anadir Anantarupam. Krishna is Anantarupam. He appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. He predicted that Prithivite Ache Jate Nagaradi Karma Sarvatra Prachara Hoibe Nama. Everywhere my name will be broadcasted, the holy name of the Lord broadcasted. So everyone was thinking that how this prediction will come to true. And this prediction came to true by Srila Prabhupada. Now we can see that the major city, major town of the world, the chanting of holy name is sung. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada's contribution is always unparalleled. So when he reached 1965, 1 year he was struggling in America. He doesn't know, he doesn't have money. He took up a formidable army in his own turf, being foreign to their culture, their language, everything actually, very foreign. But he never deterred from the determination. That is what that spiritual master, the pure devotee, representative of God. It is stated a beautiful verses in this regard, that how Srila Prabhupada mood was. In this 353 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Anugrahya charanti nyunam bhutani bhavyani janardanasya. It's a beautiful verse. It is stated here that Janasya Krishnad Vimukhyasya Daivad Adharmasilasya Sudukhitasya. Everybody is unhappy on account of turning away their face from the Krishna. That is the root cause of our conditioning, root cause of our unhappiness. We have turned away from Krishna. Krishna bhuliya, Krishna bahirmukha jiva, bhagavancha kare, nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. We are embroiled, we are suffered because we have been caught by Maya. Why we have been caught by Maya? We have turned away our face from the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, Anugrahaya charanti nunam, to show the mercy, to make us happy. Bhutani bhavyani janardanasya, oh my Lord, the great philanthropic souls travel on the earth on behalf of Supreme Personality of Godhead, to show compassion to the fallen soul. So they have come on behalf of Supreme Lord, their representative, not for their personal interest, but they are concerned with the suffering of humanity at large. Because we are who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord. That is our problem. Maya means forgetfulness of the God. We forgetful our spiritual identity as subordinate to Lord, eternal subordinate, subservient of the Lord. We are thinking, I am the master, I am the Lord, I am the enjoyer. But truth is that only supreme enjoyer is Krishna. Bhaktaram Jagyam Tapasam Sarvalokam Aiswaram. He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the Supreme Master. Isavasyam idam sarvam, Isavasyam idam sarvam, Tena taktena, Isavasyam tena taktena bhundita. Isavasyam idam sarva, yat kinchi jagataima jagat. He is the supreme controller, he is the supreme enjoyer. But we have forgotten due to influence of Maya. Therefore, to show compassion to fallen soul, to give them this knowledge, they have traveled on the earth on behalf of Supreme Lord. This is very much, fit to this achievement, contributions, or reason for Srila Prabhupada appearance and disappearance. Just like in Julius Caesar, Julius Caesar is a political leader, a Roman dictatorship. He has brought a revolution against the Roman Empire. And he declared, I came, I saw, I conquered. Srila Prabhupada also, we can adapt this tagline for Srila Prabhupada. I came, I gave, I conquered. Because Srila Prabhupada came from the spiritual planet. And he gave this Krishna matchless gift of Krishna consciousness to deliver us from this conditioning life. And he conquered the heart of millions. Therefore, the Prabhupada contribution is very gargantuan, very tremendous. This is the life of a Acharya. Acharya means conduct. They teach according to their conduct. Many people, they practice, they don't preach. Many people preach, they do not practice. But very few people, they practice and preach. They set by their example. That is called Acharya. By their conduct they teach. That is called Acharya, the meaning of Acharya. So Srila Prabhupada has taught us by his own personal conduct how to execute Krishna consciousness. How much trial and tribulation he went through just to reach America. Because America is the headquarters of materialistic culture. He wants to change them, transform them. And he always say that he never, he used to say that a first class soldier, even their hand is cut off, the head is cut off, he will still be ready to fight with enemy. That is a good soldier. So a preacher is like this. Even though the ambience, the environment is not so conducive, but for them everything is same. Apitulyata darshina, sargo narakesu apitulyata darshina. Narayana parasarva kassin vivati bhayam. Sargo pavarga narakesu apitulyata darshina. So in 1 year of struggling, every time he comes to the steamship company office headquarters in New York, he asks that when the next ship is going back. He has so much struggling. No money to even pay the rent. That was the position. In 1966, he established this International Society for Krishna Consciousness movement to give opportunity for everyone to know about the transcendental knowledge, to know the process of going back to Godhead, to know their spiritual identity and become happy. So he established this International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And from 1965 he reached, 66 he established, and 1977 he led in this material world. And within this 12 years, His contribution is very stupendous, gargantuan. He established 108 temples, so many fans community. He has so many followers. He's published 51 volumes of books in 28 languages, thousands of lectures, thousands of conversation, thousands of letters to encourage everyone that soul doesn't need a subtle body and gross body. The ultimate goal of life is to go back to Godhead, not to stay in this material world. That was his mission, that was his teaching. This human form of life is very rarely active. Lagda sudullabam idam bahu sambhamate. Asitim chaturashchaiva lakshana tan jiva jatishu brahmadbhi manusyam prapyam. After undergoing through all the species of 8.4 million species of life, one achieved this rare human form of life. Although it has a inherent adversity, but it has got a unique quality, unique opportunity. What is that unique opportunity? In this human form of life, one can get out from this entanglement, material entanglement. One can achieve the ultimate goal of life, to go back to Godhead, to go back to original home, Krishna, Vaikuntha. That was his teaching. He was a prolific scholar, not only a pure devotee, but a prolific scholar. He was a philosopher, visionary. Anybody who has come in contact with Prabhupada is always being influenced and change his life perspective. It's very astonishing, it's miraculous, his contribution. "12 times he traveled across the globe to inspire their members, inspire the followers. He will wake up night, in the dead of the night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and write books so that we can read and receive this knowledge, assimilate this knowledge, imbibe in our life, and go back to Godhead. Therefore, he used to say that Vaisnava life is meant for Parupakara, the concern for the suffering humanity. That is Vaisnava. Vaisnava is not interested in his personal interest. He is always, like Prahlad Maharaj, he was being asked to go back, Nrsimhadeva asked to go back to Vaikuntha. He told, no, I do not want. I do not want to go back alone. I want to take all these fools and rascals who are making an elaborate plan in this temporary material world for the sake of Maya Sukha. Maya Sukhaya, Udvahan, Vimudhan. So this is the Acharya's contribution. It is stated in one of the beautiful verses. This Acharya's Mahad Vichalam Ninnam Grihinam Dina Chetasam. They are Dina Chetasam. Nishrayasya Bhagavana Kalpate Nanyatha Kuschit. Very beautiful verses, this one. Oh my Lord, oh great devotee, personal like you, move from one place to another, not for their own interest, but the sake of poor-hearted Grihastha householder. It was spoken by the father of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, to Gargamuni. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another place. They are always concerned with the suffering of humanity. That is their only mission, only goal. That is Parupakara. Vaisnava means always Parupakara, always thinking of the others, concerned about others' suffering. That is the quality of the transcendental quality, super excellent quality of an Acharya, of a Vaisnava pure Vaisnava. This is what quality of a Srila Prabhupada says. This is what he is teaching by his conduct. Therefore, he is Acharya. His teaching by his conduct, that how he underwent so many trials and tribulations. Of course, seemingly trials for Vaisnava is all same. They are all happy. They are happy in any condition of life. Just for the sake of delivering the humanity, the Acharya appears and disappears, so that we will stop appear, we will stop take birth in this material world and will suffer. So this is the thing. Therefore, Krishna always glorifies the preachers, because preachers are doing a very his business, because Krishna's mission is to deliver the conditioned soul. Being an affectionate father, he wants to deliver his rebellious child. We all are rebellious child. We have turned away from the Lord, and we have no mood to reconcile with the Lord. Therefore, Krishna comes, paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya siddha diskritam dharma sanstapanarthaya. So the spiritual master, which is non-different from Krishna, the representative of Krishna, they come also to deliver. They come also for that business, to help the Lord in his business, on behalf of Lord. Therefore, it is said that acharyas are non-different from Krishna. You cannot take it acharya, oh, he is an ordinary man, he came and, he came just like ordinary man like others and he taught. No, 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 it is not like that. The real acharya, bona fide acharya, is different. Therefore, Krishna himself spoke to Uddhava to clear this doubt, that acharya mam vijaniyan na abhimanyata karchit na matya buddhaya shvate sarvadeva maya guruhu. So beautiful verses 11, 17, 27, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very nicely stated that that one should know the acharya as myself. Acharya not different from Krishna. He is a servitor Godhead. Sevaka Bhagavana. And never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So he is the representative of all the demigods. So therefore one should not disrespect the spiritual master as an ordinary person. It is an offense. It is an offense to disrespect. So in this beautiful purport, Prabhupada has given this verse appears in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the divine grace of Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Atushtra Satastra Srimad Bhakti Vedanta. Srila Prabhupada has commented on these verses as follows. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Lord Krsna when he was questioned by Uddhava regarding the four social and spiritual order of society. He was specially instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciple. He is like a parent. Without attentive service of his parent, a child cannot grow to motherhood or manhood. Similarly, without the care of spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. Therefore, we need an acharya. Tasmad Guru Prapadyante Shrey Uttamam. Those who are serious to go back to Godhead, serious to terminate all the suffering, all the awkward position of this material world, material life, one should approach a spiritual master. Sabda pare nisnantam shrotyam brahmanistam. The spiritual master is not ordinary. They are representative. They are full of knowledge. They are conducting by their teaching. They practice and preach. Sabda pare nisnantam brahmani upasramasrayam. They are asraya vigraha. Therefore, spiritual master is called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. A spiritual master called a transcendental professor. Just like we go to college to learn to get education. Similarly, for spiritual matter, we must approach a transcendental professor of spiritual science. We need a spiritual master. Spiritual life without spiritual master is a myth, without any merit. So we need, it is imperative, it is indispensable, it is a must to have a spiritual master. Tad vijnanarartham gurum eva. Eva means must. We must approach a spiritual master. Even Krishna says, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashena sevaya upadekyanti jnanam ganinam tattvadarshina. They are tattvadarshi. They know the absolute truth. Therefore, the Spirit Srila Prabhupada has come to this world to deliver the message of spiritual world. Prabhupada says, I have come to this to deliver the message of Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Because we do not know the absolute truth. We do not know the message of spiritual world. Only person who knows the truth, they can teach us. Therefore, they are transcendental professor. A professor is supposed to be know the subject matter of science, whatever the subject matter. Similarly, a transcendental professor, he knows this spiritual science. Explain the duty of an acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts the charge of disciples, teaches them Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies, gives them their second birth. The ceremony performed to initiate a disciple into study of spiritual science is called Upaniti, or the function that brings one nearer to spiritual master. One who cannot be brought nearer to spiritual master cannot have a sacred thread. Thus, he is indicated to be a Sudra. So, unless you are initiated by a spiritual master, unless you are accepting a spiritual master, we are called Sudra, no knowledge, fools. The sacred thread worn on the body of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya is symbol of initiation by spiritual master. Worth nothing if we own merely a boat of hyperenta. The duty of spiritual master is to initiate a disciple with the sacred thread ceremony, and after the sanskara or purificatory process, the spiritual master actually begins to teach the disciple about Vedas. A person born a Sudra is not bad from such spiritual initiation, provided he is approved by the spiritual master, who is duly authorized to award a disciple the right to be a Brahmana. He finds him perfectly qualified. In this Bhai Purana, Acharya is defined as who knows the import of all Vedic literature, abide by the rules and regulations. Not only he knows the import of Vedic literature, but abide by the rules and regulations. That is called Acharya. They teach by their personal achara. Achara means conduct. And teaches his disciple to act in the same way. Only out of immense compassion does the personality of the Godhead reveal himself as the spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealing of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. Acharya is not, they are servitor Godhead. Sevaka Bhagavana. Lord is Sevya Bhagavana. He is Sevaka Bhagavana. Sevaka means who offer the service to the Lord. And teaches others also the same. Sevya Bhagavana means who accept that service, that is Supreme Lord Krishna. It is worthwhile to take shelter of such a steady devotee who is called Asraya Vigraha, or the manifestation of form of the Lord whom one must take shelter. So he is non-different. He is the manifestation or mercy form of the Lord. His divine grace. We say his divine grace means is a mercy form or the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we must take shelter of him. Take shelter of him. We must take shelter of him. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. The only way to attend the devotional service, lotus feet of the spiritual master, is the only way to attend the devotional service. Therefore, I bow down with great awe and reverence to his lotus feet. Because he can stop the suffering. By his grace, one can stop the suffering of this material world and obtain the mercy of Krishna. That is the Guru. This is This is spoken by the Premachandrika by Narottam Das Thakur. Therefore, we must. This is what called a Asra. This is the position of spiritual master. Asra Vigraha, the manifestation or form of Lord whom one must take shelter. If one possesses himself as an acharya but does not have an attitude of servitorship to the Lord, he must be considered an offender. This offensive attitude disqualifies him from being an acharya. The bona fide spiritual master always engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this taste, he is known to be direct manifestation of the Lord and a genuine representative of Nityananda Prabhu. Such a spiritual master is known as Acharya Dev, influenced by an envious temperament and dissatisfied because of an attitude of sense gratification. Mundane criticize a real Acharya. In fact, however, bona fide Acharya is non-different from personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not envy such an Acharya. To envy a Acharya means to envy the personality of Godhead himself, because he is non-different. He is non-different. He is non-different from the he is non-different from this Supreme Personality of Godhead. As mentioned previously, a disciple should always respect the spiritual master as a manifestation of Sri Krishna. But at the same time, you should always remember that a spiritual master is never authorized to imitate transcendental pastime of the Lord. So here it is in the last line, the very good line. It is given as a nice purport. You can read, Krishna Prabhupada and the purport is very nice. The position of the spiritual master. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur and other unalloyed Vaisnavas, the spiritual master is always considered to be either one of the confidential associate of Srimati Radharani or a manifested representation of Srila Nityananda Prabhu. That is the Acharya position. Krishna also himself say in another verses, Krishna say that Acharyas are my externally I appeared as Acharya. This beautiful verses 11:29:6. Krishna confirmed this, corroborated this one. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as a Acharya, internally as a super soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. See? Embodied living being, to deliver the embodied living being, the Krishna manifested externally as a Acharya, and directing all this misdirected human being, living entity, how to come to Krishna, how to come to the Lord. So they are teaching Acharya. They are non-different. They are external manifestation of the Lord. Therefore, Acharyas are very glorious. Their appearance are glorious. Their disappearance are also glorious. Therefore, today we are celebrating the glorious disappearance day of a glorious spiritual master. The disappearance day of the glorious spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who came to this material world to spread this Krishna consciousness and deliver the living entity and show the process, show the path, how to come to Godhead, how to come to Krishna. Because when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityada Mam Ekam Saranam Braja, surrender unto me, people do not understand how to surrender. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and taught personally, and he wanted that his followers also spread this process. So he predicted that, and Srila Prabhupada fulfilled that prediction by spreading this Krishna consciousness throughout the world. On every surface of the world, now we can see the chanting of holy name is going on. He transformed the materialistic, in a materialistic headquarter of materialistic culture, America. He transferred them to a pure Vaisnavas. That is the quality of Srila Prabhupada. Without empowered by Krishna, nobody can preach, nobody can transform to devotee. That is his testimonial. Therefore, on this disappearance day, we understand, we realize the glories of Srila Prabhupada, glories of a great Acharya. Krishna Shakti Vina Naitar Prachara. His testimony, the proof that he was empowered by the Lord, he is a representative of the Lord. So that therefore he inundated all the living entity on the surface of the globe to chant this holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is Acharya's business. Therefore Krishna says that, the beautifully Krishna says in this beautiful verses, how Lord is say that 11, 14, 16, this beautiful verses. With the dust of my devotees, lotus feet, I desire to purify the material worlds which are situated within me. Thus I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees, who are free from all personal desire, wrapped in thought of my pastime, peaceful, without any feeling of enmity, and equal disposition everywhere. Equal disposition. Srila Prabhupada has a very transcendental quality. He will preach to everyone. Those who is critical to his mission, he is friendly to his mission, who is neutral to his mission. He will preach alike to everyone. His equal disposition everywhere. Therefore Krishna says, I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotee, Krishna, the supreme controller, supreme Lord, the supreme spiritual master. He himself says that I follow my pure devotee, who are free from personal desire, no personal desire. Prabhupada has nothing, zero. He came just for the mission. At the age, such a old age, he took this risk because he wanted to please the spiritual master. He wanted to please his Krishna. He wanted to give us the happiness, eternal happiness, by going back to Godhead. Therefore Krishna himself here corroborated, himself is stating, declaring that I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees. And not only that, and in one of the beautiful verses, it is said that 7:14-42, very nice verses. My dear King Yudhishthir, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. This is spoken by the Narada Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj. That my dear King Yudhishthir, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify three worlds with the dust of their lotus feet. Thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. Madhavakta Pujyadika. Krishna himself said to Uddhava, my devotee is more worshipable than me. Madhavakta Pujyadika. So here it is said that particularly these Brahmanas or Vaisnavas, those who are preaching and sanctify the world, they are even worshipable by Krishna. Therefore Krishna says that Madhavakta Pujyadika. You cannot approach to Krishna directly. No, Krishna never recognized that. Krishna says that Yome Bhakta Jana Partha Name Bhakta Te Janaha. Madhavakta Nam Jome Bhakta Same Bhakta Tamamataha. He told he is my devotee who claims, he is not my devotee who claims to be my direct devotee. Who is the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. That is stated in this beautiful verses 11:28 of Sisi Madhya. It's nice verses. Krishna spoke to Arjuna in Adi Purana. Yame bhakta janaha partha name bhaktaschate janaha madbhaktanam yechaye bhaktas te me bhaktatam mataha. Lord Krishna told Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. We cannot approach Krishna directly, no. That is not possible. Matinna Krishna. We cannot get the attraction of the Lord because we are here entangled. So here, this is the position, and this is the position of spiritual master and acharya. How great they are, and their achievements also greater. They are great. Their achievements also greater. Their compassion are greatest. Therefore, Krishna says that those who preaches this message, they are very, very dearest to me. Very, very Priya Kirtama, superlative language, superlative word, good, better, best. So Krishna used that superlative. In Bhagavad Gita, in 18th chapter, Krishna told that those who preaches this gospel to my devotees, they are more, they are the best, they are the dearest. Yeah. येदं परमं गुह्यं मदभक्तेषु अविद्यासति भक्तिं मायि परं कृत्वा मामि वश्यसि असंशयम्. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotee, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. And the next verses Krishna say, न च तस्मान् मनुष्यस्य कस्मिन् मे प्रियकृतमः भविता न समे तस्माद् अन्य प्रियतरो भुवि. So beautiful. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be more dear who is preaching this message. So acharyas are very, very dear to Krishna. Vaikuntha Priya Darshanaha. Vaikuntha Priya Darshana. Therefore, Shastra say, Bhagavatam say that the Dullabha Manusya Deham Dehinam Kshanabhangura. This Manusya Deha is very, very rare opportunity. Although it's subject to die at any moment. Kshanabhangura. Tatrapita Dullabha, even more rare. Tatrapita Dullabha Manya Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Most rare achievement, most rare things one can get to have a Vaikuntha Priya, to see face to face with sadhu. Vaikuntha Priya, they are Vaikuntha Priya. They are very dear to the Krishna. For the conditioned soul, the human body is most difficult to achieve. It can be lost at any moment. But I think even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotee, who are due to the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha Priyadarsina. So it is very, very rarely to gain the association of pure devotee. Therefore, it is the injunction of Shastra, one should always, a sadhu sangha, always take shelter of the spiritual master. Prahlad Maharaj is telling, on always take shelter of the spiritual master. 7, 7, 30, 31 beautiful verses. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in possession should be offered to spiritual master. And the association of saintly person and devotee, one should worship the Lord and hear glories of the Lord within faith. Glorify the transcendental qualities, activities of the Lord. Always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunction of the Shastra and Guru. So that is the injunction. Prahlad Maharaj, the great Mahajan, the pure devotee of the Lord, he is speaking that one must accept a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. That is the injunction of Shastra. And in another places also in Bhagavatam, it is stated also same thing that in the 7, 15, 26 of the verses, that very nice verse, this one, Jasya Sakyat Bhagavati Jnana Deepa Prade Guru. This verses is very nice. The spiritual master should be considered to be directly the Supreme Lord because he gives the transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya. Chakkhuru Nimiletan, open the eyes. Eyes are now suffering. Supposing a person is suffering from cataract, we are suffering from cataract. We are suffering from the nations of ignorance. So he is opening the blinded eyes. He is curing these blinded eyes. Transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. Consequently, for one who maintains the material conception that spiritual master is an ordinary human being, everything is frustrated. One should not. It is an offense to consider the spiritual master as an ordinary human being. He is not ordinary human being. Repeatedly, Shastra is declaring loudly in many places, no, you cannot take for granted. You cannot take the take for the granted of spiritual master. You cannot take the granted for spiritual master instruction either. We must hear and imbibe in our life and preach that message. We should repeat this message of spiritual master. Therefore, people, so many people, devotees are there. Many devotees are practicing, not preaching. Preaching, not practicing. But the best disciple is that one who practices and preaches. Therefore, when Prabhupada was asked, how can we repay your debt, Prabhupada? Prabhupada immediately answered the question, answer. If you want to repay my debt, you preach this message vigorously. Although a disciple cannot repay repay the debt indebtedness to spiritual master, but Prabhupada say, you want to repay means you preach this message vigorously, rigorously. That is the way we can repay. That will please me. Therefore, it is said that one should not take him for granted, neither the spiritual master as an ordinary being, nor the instruction also. One should imbibe on this disappearance day. We should learn these particular things. He is not an ordinary human being. Neither his instruction is ordinary and should not be taken for granted. I am initiated. I don't need to study. I do not need to imbibe his teaching, assimilate his teaching, apply in my life, and disseminated, broadcast this message. This is the way to repay the spiritual master. Assimilate the knowledge from him with service and faith, imbibe in our life very carefully, and disseminate, spread this message, his instruction to everyone so that everyone can get the benefit. That is the mission. That is what Prabhupada wanted that. Prabhupada wanted this, that all my disciples must preach my message as it is, without any adulteration, addition or subtraction. This is the mission of Srila Prabhupada. We really love Srila Prabhupada. We must assimilate his knowledge, his instructions, imbibe it, apply in our life, and disseminate this knowledge. In this way we can repay. We can please the Supreme Lord, spiritual master. When spiritual master is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Jasya prasada bhagavat prasada. Jasya prasada na gati kutapi. By his mercy, one can get the mercy of Krishna. Without his mercy, there is no other way. He is lost. He is lost. He cannot get out from this material entanglement. He is lost actually. Therefore, this is today and this very disappearance day. We must learn this one. Our spiritual master is so glorious. His activities are so glorious. How he has changed the life of millions by his personal conduct, being an acharya. So, we should, by realizing, by understanding how he has sacrificed his life, Vaisnava life is full of sacrifice. for the sake of suffering humanity. So we should understand and realize that, so that our reluctant, our complacency to execute devotional service taken for granted will change to seriousness, to change to a gratitude, to change to a obligation, to change to a repay the indebtedness to our spiritual master. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the Vaisnavas. Hare Krishna.